Well, welcome everyone to our Feminine Wisdom Circle for August. I'm Laura Rubinstein, and
I'm Vasi Huntalas.
we're super excited to be here because, this is a topic that you don't necessarily think is really awesome, but it is. It's called the magic of forgiveness. And we put that magic word in there on purpose, right, Vasi?
Yes, we did. We did. And part of it, what we'll be looking at today is how that can be a gift when
Mm,
we enter into the space of forgiveness. And so we'll be
absolutely.
sharing some ways to do that.
I do love that word gift, and we'll tell you why it's so related to this forgiveness process in a minute, but I thought you could get us centered first.
Yes, yes. So I invite everyone listening to close your eyes if you're not driving in a safe place and rest your hands in your lap, whatever's comfortable for you. Take a deep breath. And on your out breath, just let go of anything weighing on your mind right now. Any to-do lists, any things that did or didn't happen today. Wonderful. Take another breath. And on your out breath, just imagine you're letting go of anything that your body's been holding, any stress or tension. And take a moment to just feel into your body. Maybe relax your shoulders a little bit. Drop them down. If you've been sitting behind a computer, maybe pull your shoulders back a little bit. Feel your heart open. Rest your feet comfortably on the floor if that feels good to you. And feel a sense of being supported by the earth underneath your feet. And just set an intention in this time that you're listening and participating to be fully present. So bringing all parts of yourself, body, mind, heart, energetics, into this space right here, into this moment. Where all there is this present moment. And then take a second here to just feel into your heart. If you'd like, you can put a hand over your heart. And is there anything that you're feeling angst about? Anything that's weighing on your heart? Just feel into your precious heart there. Just notice that without judgment, without thought, just anything weighing on your heart. Maybe it's something you did or something someone else did or something that you thought of today. And then just envision the energy of that, whatever that was, that thought, that activity, that interaction, and imagine it flowing into your hand. And then just holding your palm up and just offering that up into the sun, into the rays of the sun, and release it. If you'd like, you can flip your hand. Just imagine that going in. And then come back into your heart. And consider that whatever it was is an opportunity to receive more of what your heart wanted. So whatever it was that you let go of, whatever it was that was weighing on your heart, has created this space for you to have something more aligned with who you are, with what you want. What might be the gift or the opportunity in letting go of what that was that you sent into the sun? And just listen to your heart. What's there for you when you're letting go? What is the spaciousness that's available for you? You get something more of what your heart would like. And perhaps you notice a feeling that symbolizes the gift, or an image that symbolizes the gift, or something you hear, whatever that is, it's open to that. And in this moment, whether you know what that gift is or not, just breathe that in, set the intention to breathe that gift into your heart. And let that radiate, that knowingness, that gift, just radiate throughout your whole body, starting in your heart, from the top of your head to the tips of your toes, golden light, and your left to your right hand, until you feel the soft warmth, feeling that gift within you. And when you're ready, I invite you to gently open your eyes, maybe blink a few times, and come back here to this moment with Laura and
That was beautiful. Ah, you know, that it's always such a good break to stop and refocus inward. And I love this. I love this was the perfect share centering for what we're going to do next with the feminine power card. So I'm going to just share my screen so we have just a visual on this.
I. Mhm.
Um, oh, let's do this. Cool.
And Laura, did you want to share anything about the feminine power cards for someone who may not know about
Ah,
them?
yes, what a good thing. So the feminine power cards are a deck of wisdom cards. They're feminine power principles and practices. So on the pink side is a principle, on the blue side is a practice. And these cards were designed out of my journey from being overly masculine, mastery in my life to wanting to integrate the feminine. Anytime I learned a principle that I wanted to embody, I wrote it down on an index card. And I turned those index cards into this deck because it really, truly, each one of these principles helped me transform, including the one we're going to do today. Is there anything you wanted to say or add to that? Or, um,
Just that I've really enjoyed using them. I've used a lot of decks in the past, but this one is so perfect. Whenever we've picked a card for a retreat or these gatherings, it's been perfect. Whenever I've picked one individually, it's been actually, it's like an activation, I feel, Laura, these cards, each
hmm.
one.
Yeah, and every time I hand this deck to somebody and they look through the cards and they read a couple of the principles, they say, "I love these cards," including Dr. John Gray, who wrote the book "Men Are from Mars, Women Are from Venus," and he has the whole uh, line of books and supplements and tools. And so when he said that, I was like, wow. He actually asked me if he could buy a deck, and I said, well, I'd love to have you endorse them since you like them and you want to buy them. And he said that would be fine. So he did endorse the cards, which is quite astonishing to me and acknowledging to me that we got that. So today, shall I go into today's feminine power card?
Yes.
All right. So today, we are going to talk about forgiveness, and of course, there are actually a couple of cards in the deck about forgiveness. And today's card is um, forgiveness is taking responsibility for having what you want in your life. It's kind of a heavy one, or it's some of these seem like really lighthearted principles, and then you really think about them, they're quite deep. So I'm going to say it again. Forgiveness is taking responsibility for having what you want in your life. And this makes me think of, well, if I'm not forgiving, I'm kind of stuck with having the angst, the thing that's weighing on my heart. I'm just attached to it if I'm not willing to forgive it. And if we stay attached to it, we can't really move anywhere. We can't grow. We can't have what we want. But that's why we titled today The Magic of Forgiving, because when you do it, you have more possibility to have what you want in your life. So that's the principle. The practice is on the back, and it says, I forgive blank for blank so I can be free to blank.
Mhm.
So we're going to go through an example for you here today. But before I do that, Vasi, do you want to share something about the card? on your.
Yeah, for me, it's about I'll just give my own perspective is that when I'm in a place of judgment, either of myself or someone else, like I forget this, I forget that I'm not taking responsibility. And in that case, it's more like an empowerment. It's like, where am I disempowering myself?
Mm,
Or where am I blaming or judging someone else? And as soon as I take that responsibility, like I let go of that piece about where I'm not feeling disempowered. And then I'm like, well, what is it that I really want? What is my part in it? And what am I doing to create this situation? Or what am I doing to continue this situation or this pattern? And so I love the forgiveness piece because it's such a feminine quality to really have that compassion, right? And say, well, let's forgive because we can always step back and have a different perspective, right?
totally. Forgiveness, I love what you said, is empowering. It is your power. It's taking your power back. So if you're not condoning another's action, especially if you're forgiving something or someone or some circumstance outside of yourself, you're not condoning the condition or the person you're forgiving. You're taking your power back. I forgive so I can be free to blank, to have whatever it is that not forgiving is really stymieing you on. So, how do we get there? We have a little process for you to go through. Um, and so, take out your journals, write these questions down that I'm going to put on the screen, and then we'll go through an example of how it actually looks like. Um, yeah. So here's the first question. And we did this in the centering, so maybe something came to mind. What's weighing on your heart? What's weighing on your heart? So whatever came up in that centering, if it was something, some circumstances, someone, be a little vulnerable with yourself and cop to it, you know? And what's the underlying intention? That, why is this causing you angst? It's really usually because you want something more positive. You want more joy. You want more love. You want to be a healing presence. You want to thrive in some way, right? So, what is that intention that, you're disappointed that this circumstance or this person has prevented, right? Because that's why you're so upset and about it, because the underlying intention was thwarted. So we want to really give recognition to the positive side of why it's has a grip on you. It's because you want something better. But the problem is you have to forgive in order to get there. Or the bonus, the opportunity is to forgive. So who is the person, thing, or circumstance that you want to forgive, or to forgive? You may not want to, but who is the person, thing, or circumstance to forgive? Okay. And is there something you've learned in this process of having this person, thing, or circumstance disappoint you or betray or, upset you in some way? What did you learn? This could be a tricky one, right? But when you are aware of that intention, that could be the thing you learned, is that I really care deeply about X, whatever that intention was, about having more joy, about having love in my life, so this is the opportunity that came forth to bring that awareness to you. And then, yeah, so did you learn something, and can you see the opportunity if you forgive it? And then you can fill in this blank. I forgive blank for blank so I can be free to blank. So, all right, we're talking all in theory now. Let's put it into an example. So, I was in a long-term relationship and we were engaged to be married. And then my fiance came home one night and said, I love you, but I'm not in love with you. I can't marry you. I felt totally betrayed, totally unlovable, because we had a promise to each other. And why is he breaking up with me? And he didn't even give me a reason. He just said he's not in love with me anymore. But the intention, the reason I was so shocked and hurt was because I wanted a deeply loving and harmonious, juicy relationship. And guess what? We didn't actually have that. I loved him very much, but it wasn't harmonious. It wasn't juicy. It was it was tense, and he was a great guy. So the person to forgive was my ex-fiance. And what I learned is I had to learn it to love myself because I couldn't be in a harmonious, loving relationship the way I was because I really didn't like myself. I wasn't happy with myself. And when he broke us up, there was a huge opportunity to be free to find the love of my life and also to heal myself, right? And to get my love of self back. So my forgiveness statement here is I forgive my ex-fiance for breaking us up so I can be free to find a juicy, harmonious, and loving relationship with my divine life partner. And that does include all the steps that led to that. I would have never, ever, maybe never ever, but is not so that's pretty dramatic. But it would have taken me a lot longer to get to self-love, which then led to joy, which then led to attracting my divine life partner if I didn't forgive that. Because I spent months and months feeling betrayed and trying to understand why he broke us up. And then one day in therapy, something came to me and said, what if he can't tell you why? What if he just doesn't have the ability to? I'm suffering here because I'm not getting what I want, an explanation, and I'm not forgiving. And and he'll never be able to do that. So why should I stay stuck? It kind of like clicked. And then I was able to forgive him when I realized I don't need to force him to tell me because he probably can't. It's just not in his ability to explain that. So, is there a story you want to share, forgiveness, or a comment you want to make about this?
What's coming to me, if the number 4 was, what did you learn? I think that was
Yeah.
number 4, right? What do you learn? And when I've gone through this process myself, a little different, but essentially the same, I can get stuck there. And I just wanted to offer this tip to people that's helped me is if I've got stuck there and I'm still in a place of, I don't know what I learned, because there's still so much emotion around it, right? I go back to the step before and I really do some physical letting go. Because the energy is still stored in my body. So whether it's like movement or yelling or, really like letting go, it's like I may have intellectually let go. I may have followed that step, but that emotion may still be in my body. And then when I go back, there's more of a sense of calm and quiet within myself where I can say, okay, I have enough perspective that I can say, what did I learn? And the majority of the time when that happens, it's because I actually need to forgive myself. Either I didn't trust my intuition, I waited too long in a situation, I didn't take action soon enough. You know what I mean? It's like, it's really myself that I was most angry. And I have so many examples of that. But when I was just tuning in to like what would be most useful for people listening, that's what I was getting. Is if that's where you find yourself kind of in a stuck circle, like in a spiral, go back, do some releasing of the emotion and really look at it. Is there a part of yourself, that you want to recognize and forgive yourself? And that's so powerful when we can forgive ourselves.
Yes. Yeah, we really must forgive ourselves first. And we do have another card that says forgive yourself. And on the back of that, it has an affirmation. And it's pretty much what you're saying. And I want to give an answer to how do you get to that lesson? So the answer is in the process. And I would relate back to that intention. So if your intention was, you're really hurt because you really wanted in my case, a loving, juicy relationship, and I wasn't able to get there, then the lesson is around how do I create a loving, juicy relationship? It's like I'm learning how to. Like the universe woke me up and said, you don't have that. You want that. So I'm going to help you out and kick you out of this relationship so you can go find that and figure it out. And what I had to figure out was I had to love myself, right? So the lesson, don't worry if you're not clear on the lesson, but it's more important to be clear on the intention, and then let go of judgment if you can of yourself and forgive yourself for it. And I love what you said when we were prepping for this. You said judging myself or others keeps me from moving forward with that lesson. So I think you're right. If you can't get to the lesson, at least forgive yourself. And on the back of the second card, there's an affirmation. It says, I forgive myself as I recognize my motivating intention. I did the very best I could have with the awareness and tools I had at the time. So if you can at least say that and then do this exercise, that would be super helpful. And just trust the process. Come back, go journal if nothing's coming. I love what you said. Go move your body. Go for a run, go for a walk, shake it out, dance, scream, punch a pillow, whatever it is, cry. Some sort of release is really, really good. Some people like to go upside down, and that could mean just putting your head between your knees, sitting down and, because you get a new perspective. Or I like to put my legs up the wall, back on the floor, legs up the wall. That's really so good to do. So we wanted to invite you to step into this forgiveness process. Try it out at home. Come back next month. We're going to be meeting on September 30th, 4:30 p.m. Pacific, and share about your ahas, any joy you found out of this. And anything else you want to share before I share a couple opportunities for people?
I think that's it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I love what you shared. So if anybody's wondering, by the way, if you would like your own deck of wisdom cards, feminine power cards, femininepowercards.com, you can grab a set there. We'll mail it right out to you. Vasi, why don't you share what you're offering?
Yeah, and I also realized that we didn't introduce ourselves at the beginning, so this might be a good opportunity to do that. Yeah, so I'm an intuitive coach and a mindset mentor. And so I work with women entrepreneurs and other visionary leaders to make greater impact, make that impact that's in their heart and soul, and do it from a place of flow. Do it in a way where they aren't working harder or longer, using their intuition, their creativity. And so this session is Unlock Your Next Level of Impact. It's a 20-minute intuitive session that in that session you will, I'll tap into the limiting belief that's blocking you from that next level. I'll bring in your inspiration from your higher self. I'll connect with your higher self, and then you'll get your next step. That's often more easier than people think. We often think in terms of big steps. So, and that's a 20-minute intuitive session that I'm happy to offer to anyone who would like to sign up for it.
And I have to say that I love how gentle, I won't say easy, but it is easy. It just flows, and you make it so accessible, and it's just like, I don't know if we like the word fast or quick or whatever, but it is transformation. You have it dialed in, and you really just like, boop, take people there.
Thank you, Laura. Appreciate that. It's so fun for me to see how quickly things can happen when we're aligned. And that's what I love to support people with.
It is so amazing. So this is a very feminine quality that we're talking about, that you facilitate, because the feminine is non-linear. That means it doesn't have to take a long time to get through to where you want to be. Transformation can happen in an instant. You said one thing to me last week when we were in a session, and it changed my whole outcome.
Mm.
like it really enhanced, it made, I could sleep better. I had a great, I had to deal with this one issue. It was great. It was perfect. So if you want to take Vasi up on her session, you go to bit.ly/ignite my soul. And the I, the M, and the S are all capitalized. Ignite my soul. So I'll put it back on screen too, so y'all can see it. And then I am offering an Unlock Your Feminine Influence code, and that's at transformtoday.com/15. And we'll spend about 20 minutes as well, even though it says 15, we'll spend more time. But I want to talk about where you can integrate your feminine in your life so that you find manifesting much easier. So that if there's areas you want to have more influence in and much more easily, we'll find a way to do that. Or if you're struggling with something, we'll find a way to break through. So I'm excited to work with you. And by the way, so I'm Laura Rubinstein, and I like to call myself a feminine power catalyst. I also do marketing and a business growth and development consulting and online digital media marketing work with my clients. So I'm excited that I'm able to do this work with the feminine and have integrated it into my life. And I help women leaders integrate the feminine into their life so they can have more flow and flourish. So I hope we'll see you on September 30th. Thanks.
Can I say one thing,
Yeah.
Laura?
Yeah.
So what I would love for women to know that are listening to this is that you've spent 20 plus years in this space of feminine energy.
Yes, I have.
And you have embodied this. So this is not something that's just been a few years. This has been, you've integrated it on all levels of your being. And so I've seen in the way in which you've been innovative and in working with women around this and so honoring of who they are. So I just want to encourage people to take advantage of time with you, because you are definitely a catalyst for feminine power, most certainly.
Thank you. And we're an amazing team together. We love collaborating, and I love collaborating with you, Vasi. Mm-hmm. So welcome into our circle of thriving in the feminine, in our feminine wisdom circle. And we will be back in September to do more. And oh, by the way, the topic next month is flourishing relationships. So my example of my forgiveness, I'll tell you what happened after I forgave my ex-fiance and about the juicy, harmonious relationship I was able to create.
I love that little teaser. Yes.
All right, everyone.
And give yourself the gift of forgiveness. I'm going to leave you with that, because it really is a gift for yourself and for others as well.